plants. Algae. Right. It's still open down the,
Okay, I'd like to call the October 28th meeting to order. Can we stand for the pledge of allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. I look for a motion to approve today's agenda.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? I look for a motion to approve the minutes for October 21st.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes. I'll second
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
it. Aye.
Meetings attended, Scott?
Had a solid waste meeting, kind of talked about some repairs that was needing done, approved a bid to put a new concrete drain in. That, where they load the trash, it's broke up, so we're getting a new one put in there. Jacob presented some ideas on, we have to do some public education, I guess you'd call it, and the conservation is gonna take charge of that for us, and then we'll pay them for whatever they perform for us, so. Oh, other natural, well, there was the fire detection system was needing upgraded, but we kind of tabled that just to see what else we can. I was wanting another $95 a month and $150 fee. And not actually changing the cameras to where they'd actually work any better, so we kind of tabled that for the moment. Yeah, then we had a 911 meeting and approved a radio for Wapello Fire Department, Wapello Ambulance, Columbus Fire, and so then Kenny talked about the recorder. I mentioned that a couple months ago that it was outdated and not working correctly. They got it working. So a new one was gonna be around 30, just over 34,000, but it was not going to be capable of recording the Essex channels, which that's what the new police radios are all gonna be. They're not gonna run them channels all the time, but when they do run them, they won't be able to record them. So that was another, probably somewhere around 140,000 to be capable of recording them. So Kenny's working on some ideas to see if we can. There's a couple of counties that might let us, they might record for us, and if we pay them a fee. And Motorola might waive the fee, possibly. They did for Des Moines County just a couple of years ago. So anyway, Kenny's working on them, some more ideas there to see if we can lower that. I guess that was the main part of that meeting. And then all the farm services out there, they showed up yesterday. He just called and they should finish draining the bullet and hook up the temporary tank this morning, so.
Yeah.
And then Daniel, hey, I don't know if he did it or not. He told me that he was going to possibly do that caulking work on the cement there in front of the courthouse. Did he do that?
Not that I know of.
Okay, I was gonna walk over there after the meeting, see if he'd showed up. He was gonna do it Saturday, so I don't know if he did or not, but
Not that I know of.
okay. Anyway, it's on his radar, I guess, so
Good deal.
that's pretty much it.
Community action meeting next week, or last week, and funding is a big issue with all of those right now. So, a couple of centers, we had some centers in Iowa, said with contract came up in November and they might not have the funds to stay running. Fortunately, the one down here has money to go for another year yet, so. Funding can't do it for them for a while, anyway. What happens after that? Depends on what the feds do. So, and I talked with you earlier, I've been discussing trees with Myers Trees Farm to get a couple trees over to courthouse for replacement. taken out, and that'll be on the agenda next week, so.
Nice to find a couple trees there.
Yeah. That's good.
I had early childhood development meeting in Mount Pleasant Tuesday night. Most of it surrounded the redistricting of what's going on. Adding counties in, and it's still a little bit in limbo, but it's getting closer, so I'm not exactly sure how all that's gonna work out yet, but that was good for both of them. We had a fire panel go bad out at the jail complex. Apparently it's 2 years old and it had a 1-year warranty. So Brandon's in that, his group kind of on that and get that replaced, repaired. I don't think it's gonna be a huge expense, but it's still an expense. I have received at least 3 or 4 phone calls from Vermont
Side too.
on that.
And he's looking at possibly doing something different.
It's, I call it the panic button, but they call it something else. When they call it the take down or hold up button, they call it the hold up
Isn't
button.
that what it is?
Yeah, which is
I-
the panic button. It keeps going off, it goes to Permar. And then the call's supposed to go to Tracy first, then me, then you.
Yes,
And I've gotten through the weekend, I don't know, 3 or 4. I said, nobody's pushing the hold up button. There's nobody there. Yeah, it's Sunday morning at 7 AM. I guarantee you, there's nobody at that desk.
So what this get, is it at the courthouse or?
At the courthouse. At the clerk of courts is the button that keeps tripping. So we're trying to figure out what we can do so we don't. I feel it's kind of like the cry of the wolf. Deal, you keep, yeah, after a while, when you really need it, you think the button's not working properly and.
Mhm.
So we'll try to get that resolved. There's a meeting on Wednesday, I don't remember what I did, but there was a meeting for something on Wednesday.
It was probably conservation. Special meeting.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I knew we did something on Wednesday. Special meeting, mower, not the mower, what was it?
Skid steer.
Oh, yeah, the skid steer blew up.
Oh,
Hey,
No, I didn't.
it felt like,
Joke about that.
it felt like it. There was the sensor on the deck that went sideways and some other stuff, and it was kind of over the threshold. So we all sat down and talked about it. Of course, we're gonna get it fixed. We are discussing changing those thresholds a bit. It was $2,500,
Mhm.
and maybe you'll talk about that at your little spiel, but. We felt that maybe that was a bit too low, we're gonna pull that up a little bit, and then the overall, before we had to go out to bid, was 25,000. And I thought that was a little high. What's our threshold for counties? At 10 or 5?
for bids, we usually try to stay at 5.
So I think we're gonna pull that down and go a little bit more in line with state regulations, so. Anyway, and then last night I had a downtown business meeting. They're trying to put stuff together for downtown, so. Next summer. They're missing Meet the Street. You need to throw that back out there.
That's more than I needed.
I see a lot of cows out. We can go round one.
Yeah.
I hear goats every once in a while.
Yeah, goats, yeah.
So feel fatty. The chickens on
That's pretty much, other than all these stupid emails that come through. Did you guys get the one on, did you send them the one on the state? When they're gonna make all these changes?
Oh, yeah.
The Doge report.
Yeah,
What's the matter?
Yeah,
yeah. I-
Yeah, so basically they're,
they're gonna take over everything.
yeah,
Now, I think some of that would happen. I can't believe all of it would happen, but.
Well, I found it interesting, the recommendation is that the state takes over all the driver's license
DOT stations, yeah, yeah. So-
Hey, and apparently.
And the road.
And the roads.
We might not need to add them anymore.
Well,
They
basically,
did such a good job on the roads they have.
yeah, basically, recommended they take over basically
All of it,
everything.
all of it,
Yeah.
yeah. And like I said, I think some of it probably may happen, but I can't believe they take over the roads. I mean,
Maybe they would.
how would they possibly?
Well, I look at this part of this as, you know, kind of a desire at the state level to shrink the amount of counties we have. And I look at part of that report is reflecting that if they take over more of these offices, they can condense counties, you know, so I think it falls in line with some of the stuff they've been talking about for the past couple, 2 or 3 years, so we'll see.
Yeah.
You know,
We'll see, it was a pretty interesting read, though.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Okay, public input? Anybody wanna talk? No? All right. I didn't see any payroll changes.
Maybe make her house.
Good there. Adams, what do you got for us?
No, have a couple things.
First is, we had a bid letting last week through the DOT. For the bridge on the K Road over Smith Creek. My estimate was 970,000. I was, delighted to see the low bid was 895,000, so I was off too high by about 75, which is great. So, little bidder was Iowa Bridge of Washington. Probably go ahead and authorize it and get going on it. As part of your annual beginning of the year things, you authorized me to move forward on it, I guess, so. Anyway, that'll happen, I assume, I'm not able to talk to the contractor yet for a couple of weeks, but I assume it'll probably be late winter or early spring, probably be the beginning of project or so, but we will find out those details when I talk to them, so.
Dale, what's the duration of that, if you any idea, start to finish?
3 or 4 months. Assuming things go well. We did do it in a manner, we did a single span, precast beam one, so that should be a little bit quicker. So that's that, yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing, I have a bid letting, planned, I have plans and specifications for, a couple of, bridge repairs. One of them is Q Avenue. Be a little bit north of 65th, be north of, Virginia Grove there. A bridge, it's got a high back wall, it's a wooden back wall. The actual bridge structure itself is fine, but everything under it is getting kind of weak. And then there's another one up on X Avenue, west of X17, kind of north of Cotter. There again, another local road bridge. That I'd like to do the repair of here. I'll show you a picture of it. We've got about 8 to 10 of these in the county. So here's the old bridge, right? And they just come in and pound in new pilots. And run a beam across, right? And so the bridge actually sits on this new modern island there, so. It was designed by Calvin Burns, who's our bridge specialist. Should take the weight, the loading up to 90,000 pounds, which would be good for ag. It doesn't widen the bridge, but it, it'll allow traffic there.
Cause we know they never load anything over 9.
Yeah, sure. So we got 2 installations of these. My estimate is about 65,000 a piece, 65 to 75,000 a piece. So new bridge in both these locations would be over 400,000. So, we've done this 8 to 10 times in the county, so. Anyway, so asking for a motion to approve plans and specifications. Bid letting will be December 2nd. Hopefully we get some, we've already got some contractors working in the area, so maybe it'll work okay. I'm not gonna put a tight window for getting these done, basically, say, hey, guys, whenever you have some time, I'm gonna do it. Each one will take a couple weeks or first. So. It's, you get the chairman and Riverson, so.
Well, that is item number 8. If you wanna skip forward, we can go ahead and do that. Item number 8 is approving the plans and specs for, no, I'll read it out, L-CO 50, which is Wise County 58.
Yeah.
73, 58 repairs to county bridges, Marshall 43 and Union 115.
I'll make a motion to approve.
1 second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Sign in the bottom. Looks like we're getting close on 92. All the concrete work looks like it's done.
I think it has some intersections and ancillary and things like that, but yeah, probably a couple weeks here or so.
That'd be good.
Yeah. Good to get them off our roads and back onto their roads, so.
So will these roads be closed while they're doing those repairs?
Probably, yeah, for a week or two, so.
How do they get them steel beams underneath?
They-
Push them in,
Had a hole in it and pound them through, and then they
patch them.
patch them back up.
Huh.
Yeah. If you look out there, I don't know if you're ever out on 50th Street between X37 going west to, what's his name, guy who's got a trucking out there, Thomas, right? He runs his trucks across them all the time, and look in there, and there's holes in the deck there, and they patched them up and seems to work okay for him, so. So in the office, construction crew guys, we are, replacing a big pipe down, on the Oakville bottoms, east of Oakville, there on X71. About a 6-foot, metal pipe, so got that ordered in, it arrived, and the guys are working on it now. Gonna do that, got a little, shoulder repair down, on the bottoms this week, east of that even. Got a little ditching work there on K Road and a little cleanup work from a tree issue we had as well. So just a few oddball things this week. Next week we'll have a safety meeting. It's kind of a winter prep meeting. We'll probably start hauling sand and salt next Wednesday, Thursday. So gonna probably about 500 tons of salt and 1,400 tons of sand, so.
I can hear my truck rusting now.
I know, so. That'll be our first round, and then we'll probably do another round of it again in December or so, so. Other than that, the guys are still out hauling rock and blading. I think most of the mowing should be done, so they're probably gonna be getting in the ditches and getting after the brush and things like that too, so. In the office, we're working on survey of 99 here, for the city, and working to get those plans done, so. Any questions for me? Anything going on out there?
That you talking about Franklin Street here?
Yeah,
They get
yeah.
mentioned that.
We're probably gonna have a pretty serious discussion, because they are kind of viewing it as kind of an overlay deal. And I'm kind of viewing it as a complete removal and replacement, and there's some cost issues there, so. We may have to have some discussions on that. Obviously, the county isn't gonna pay for anything, it's just a matter of what they.
It's got a weird crown to it.
It's got all this
One
weird
side
stuff and.
Way low and.
You know, I blame the previous mayor on a lot of those issues. But.
I do too. I've never been dogged on.
But, you know, once
Or you gotta go back.
Once the DOT, it takes it back over though, you know, it'll be fine, so. I I find a lot of these things kind of odd, you know, because the whole reason we had to replace these two bridges and paving the road is because the DOT didn't want these things.
Yeah.
You know, they dump these things on us, whether it's driver's licenses or
Yeah.
roads or whatever, and
Yeah.
well, why are property taxes high? Well, because we have to pay for all
All the
the
stuff you don't.
dumped on us, you know, and I, I sometimes find that one hand doesn't know what the other one is doing on.
I will agree, if you could get that road through here on concreted, it would last a long
Yeah.
time. It's really soft on that end block.
I think what's going on is it gets water under the base and it freezes and thaws, you know. It was overlaid in 13 and it should have lasted longer than it has, so. Anyway, well, we're coming out, so. All right, thanks,
Thank you,
guys.
Adam.
Yep.
Jacob, you're next.
My stuff sounds a lot like Adam's. We are done through mowing for this year, so all the parks are pretty well touched up. We did all our string trimming and we're not gonna rake leaves, probably. That's just not worth that time, but, we'll blow out the shelters when they need it. Camping season's pretty well finished out. We did just have our Halloween hike, very successful. I don't have any official numbers, but we thought somewhere around 150 people showed up. We opened up the campground for free camping as long as they dressed up their campers a little bit in their sites and gave out candy to those who come. So it's quite a different venture than what we've seen in the past 5 or 10 years. But it's working really well. People really enjoy it. Both the folks walking through the campground with their children or not children, and the actual campers. They are already trying to sign up for next year, and we're having to find a fair way to encompass everyone because there's more campers than there are campsites that are willing to give out stuff. So there's some scuttle about maybe working with the cabin and the cabin group on Lake Odessa and trying to involve Snively. And so maybe 2 campgrounds, 2 weekends, 1 weekend. I don't know, but very popular. Halloween's really gaining around here. So we're gonna jump on the train and keep serving.
When you opened up the phone lines, how long did it take to fill those camping spots?
4 minutes. They opened at noon and it was full by 12:04. We couldn't answer them fast. Like people were like on hold, and so by the time they'd call again, it was so there was a couple, and if there's a lot of big groups too, there's 2 or 3 main groups that, and if you can't get all your friends, then it's tough to try to plan anything halfway. So we had a couple people pull out and reshuffled, but yeah, huge desire. We'll try to accommodate everybody. But yeah, camping is pretty well done now for the year. We shut off waters getting too close to freezing or have frozen, so no rushing or no risk. Yes, so mowing's also done. We have transitioned into mulching, mowing with the forestry or at the brush hogs and just cleaning out brush, cleaning all the trees that have died in the past year and fallen over trails, and yeah, some of the heavier machinery stuff that needs done. We're also doing a lot of oil changes and getting all our equipment back up to speed again before winter. Yeah, a lot of shop stuff going on.
Talk about your skid steer.
Oh yeah, so the skid steer what went bad was the thermostat valve or some temperature valve that controls how hot the def is coming in and out of the system, or the coolant. It's a coolant system, and so if the coolant was too hot coming in or whatever, I'm not the diesel tech, but that's what he's trying to tell us essentially. And so then that blew out or made the header for the def fail. And so Tanner and I broke into it and we flushed all the fluids, we cleaned it out real good. It already looked nice, so we were confused at why it had failed, but we were like, should we throw our own def header in there and see? But we took it into Cummins, and I'm very glad we did, because we'd have put a new header on there and then it had failed again because the valve was bad. So yeah, that was the only problem. It was they had included, it came back less than what they quoted us for, plus they had quoted us tax, so it's actually a $2,800 fix. So it's just coming down a little bit, but my threshold for without board approval was 2,500. But they did vote to move that up to 5,000, so that way these little fixes, we don't have to have a meeting every time something breaks. Yeah,
Sounds good.
But yeah, the skid steers, when we go pick it up again, it'll be ready to go.
Thank your emissions for all that.
Yeah.
I am starting a little bit of budgeting just because if we got, I want to make sure all our numbers are right for next year and get it all straightened out well in advance. Yeah,
Keep it tight.
seriously, we're going through everything now while we're doing it, checking numbers now to make sure that we're accurate. I am selling on behalf of the conservation board, some surplus boating equipment. It's not in the newspapers yet, but I wanted to talk to you guys because behind our shed, or not our shed, there's a shed at the office that the conservation uses, and it's full of just, the stuff that we use all year. Behind it, there is a gas tank with a pump on it. I don't know how many gallons it is. It's big. I mean, it's an actual gas tank. I assume a diesel tank that's next to it. There's a 3-point finish mower that's out there and an LP tank still hooked up to that building. I'd like to clean them up and get rid of them, sell them. We can give profits to the county. Obviously, I don't know whose equipment it is, if conservation was running it, if it was the old county home that just got turned over, but the LP's not used anymore. It's still got some in it.
This is out at the complex.
Yeah, it's as you're driving in if conservation office on your left, before you make the turn to the sheriff's office, the building right in front of you.
Behind the pine trees or under the pine.
Yeah,
trees.
right by the pine trees. Yeah. But it's just, we used some help this fall to clean up it'd been grown up in weeds. You couldn't even see back there. But we got it all cleaned out. It looks really nice. But now we have the things that are there. So if it's okay with you, while we get rid of our surplus boating equipment, I'd like to include all that stuff in it. I'll keep everything separate and then I'll just handle the sale of or disposal. Like if we can scrap it for more than we can get out of it, then
We're not using it. It's just sitting there.
Right.
Get rid of it.
I don't think any of it's salvageable. You guys are more than welcome to come out and look, but I think we could sell it for more than just paying to get rid of it.
Well, the LP tank, is it 1,000 gallon or?
I don't know the gallons, but I estimated 10 feet by 3 foot diameter. That's a big one.
I might be only give 500 then. This still probably worth close to 1,000 anymore.
Yeah, and I don't know do you have any recommendations of who I should call?
Well, call Farmers Over, they might buy it too. I mean, they redo tanks and sell them, possible.
Okay, and I assume that, so our stuff has to go out for bid, sealed bid. It can be auctioned. Do you guys know if there's a rule that in order to get rid of surplus equipment, it has to go to sealed bid, or if you can just sell it at will?
I don't know anything about being a sealed bid or something like that.
Okay,
It's whatever they decide.
so I'll sell it in whatever way you guys think is fair, if it's okay if I do that.
I'm fine.
Yeah,
It,
not talking that much money, I don't believe.
No, and my threshold's 250, so as soon as it hits 250, it's sealed bid, so. I know mine's really low, so you don't mind if I just call people and say, hey, do you want this, or
I don't.
I don't have to seal bid or anything like that? Okay, do you want me to post it in the newspaper? I think word of mouth and,
I would say,
Sheriff
yes.
here.
Yeah, I would
sure.
say we need to post it in the paper.
okay,
It is public stuff.
I can contact you with all these other stuff. Okay, well then, if that's okay with you, I'm gonna go ahead and post our stuff and then just lump everything kind of in, so that way people, it's, instead of like, oh, this is having a sale, this is having a sale, this is having, just like.
Yeah.
I think we'll get better success that way for every party.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's it. Anything else?
Okay. Could I say something about Jacob's haunted house thing they put on? I took my family out. Where are you guys there? There you guys go. I took my family out there. We were very, very impressed. You overdid yourself.
Huh.
Very well organized. I saw license plates from Des Moines County, Henry County, Washington County,
Yep.
and Muscatine County. I just can't believe how
good a job you did.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, and
We
that's,
were very
I
impressed.
give all that to Lena.
Well,
She did all of that.
you're behind it.
Yeah,
You're the director.
Yeah.
And good job.
Yeah, if it's working good, expand it.
Yeah.
it is. It's
Yeah,
working.
it'd be
Yeah,
fun.
it was a lot different. And so people are sometimes, they're still like, oh man, we used to have like plays and skits out in the middle of the woods. And it was cool, but it was tons of work.
But there was campers that, some of them dressed, I saw one outfit dressed up like the Wizard of Oz. I
Uh-huh,
mean,
yep.
and the whole family was dressed up that way. There was Santa Claus stuff and
Toy Story.
all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, it's
Very impressive.
Yeah. We'll do a
If you get
Facebook
a
post.
chance, go.
I'm amazed at stuff like that and the trunk or treats, how big they've gotten compared to just when I was little, going around house to house. I mean, that's what you did, but all those other things are huge.
Yeah.
It's evolved.
They're buying in.
It's evolved,
Yeah,
yeah.
we'll take it.
Good deal.
Okay, well, thanks.
Thank you. Okay, item number 10, Lower Cedar Watershed Management Presentation. Are they online? Alyssa online? Okay.
Hi, yes, I'm here. Um, do you want me to share our presentation
Yeah, why
on my
don't you? We have
Okay,
several people in the audience that might want to follow along.
okay. And then our videos okay, or do you want us to keep our videos off?
Video would be fine. I don't matter to me. Matter to you?
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello. So sorry for my technical difficulties this morning. I was not smarter than Zoom. Um, but good morning. Thank you so much for having us. We are here, Emery and I, on behalf of the Lower Cedar Watershed Management Authority. My name's Alyssa Comer. I work for the East Central Iowa Council of Governments. I'm an environmental specialist here, and I help the WMA out with just some technical assistance and outsourcing funding opportunities. Emery Davis, he works for Heartland Cooperative. He is a conservation agronomist and also the Lower Cedar Watershed's watershed coordinator. So today we just kind of wanted to pop on and say thank you for being a continued partner and for all your support of the Lower Cedar Watershed. And just wanted to kind of give you an update on what we've been doing the past few years with our contract with Heartland Co-op and Emery's position as the watershed coordinator. So um, let me. Okay, so just some background. The Lower Cedar Watershed, it covers 7 counties. The end tip is right in the corner of Louisa. There's about 700,000 acres that covers the Lower Cedar Watershed, and it drains into the Iowa River. We have 33 subwatersheds that we have prioritized within our watershed plan. So, a little background on the WMA. We were formed in 2018 with a focus on water quality and flooding. There are 30 member agencies. Our members consist of counties, as you guys know, cities, and soil and water conservation districts. So we have 30 members signed on to our 28E agreement with the state. 39 are eligible. We meet quarterly. Our board of directors meets quarterly as well. So we have about 8 meetings a year. And then in 2019, we received a grant from the Iowa Department of Natural Resources to create and author a watershed plan. So this is quite a lengthy document. It is on our website, but it helped us gain some insight on the water quality throughout the watershed and how we can continue to improve that in the future. And one of the main goals of that plan that we did complete in 2022 was to hire a watershed coordinator for the Lower Cedar watershed. So also in 2022, we contracted with Heartland Co-op for that watershed coordinating position. Um, the last few years, we've been able to maintain and support a watershed coordinator, but our contract with them does end in June 2026, so this coming summer. We are currently looking for funding opportunities. We're in the process of applying for a WQI grant, Water Quality Initiative, which is through IDOLS, that would support Emery's position for 3 more years. Um, and I will let Emery kind of dive into what he's been up to the last 3 or 4 years. But he has been able to just build a robust community of landowners and get so many practices on the ground. So we're very thankful for him, and we're very thankful for all that Heartland has been able to do for the Lower Cedar watershed. So I will hand it over to Emery.
Morning. Oh. There you go.
There we go. Yeah, we're having some unmuting issues. Yeah, good mornings. I'm calling from a supply closet at a co-op location. So sorry for the totes and stuff in the background. Yeah, I'm Emery Davis. I'm a conservation agronomist with Heartland Co-op. And this is our team on the slide. So we work across the state of Iowa. And I specifically work in Eastern Iowa. I'm based out of Solon and do the majority of my work in the Middle and Lower Cedar River watersheds. And I also farm down in Louisa County over by Wyman in that area next to the Iowa State Research Farm. So I'm down in that area quite a bit. You can go to the next slide, please. So our conservation team, like I said, we do work all across Iowa with a variety of conservation practices. Small things like nitrogen stabilizers and cover crops, all the way up to saturated buffers and wetlands. Most of the people we work with are Heartland customers, but over in Eastern Iowa, I work with anyone actually, so we don't have to be a Heartland Co-op customer to be a conservation customer. And the goal of our team is to reduce the loss of soil and nutrients from our farm fields into surface waters. So everything we do is geared towards keeping soil and nutrients in crop fields. You can go to the next slide. So in the Lower Cedar watershed, we've had a lot of success already just in 3 years. Farmers have been very open to working with us and have been very conservation minded and enthusiastic about adopting conservation practices. You can see here on the slide, we've done 25,000 2 years ago and 35,000 acres of cover crops in the last 2 years. So that's a big chunk of acres. And that's just the folks that I've worked with. Of course, there's more acres going in. This is a field that was spread with a heggie. So this is rye in a cornfield. And the good thing about getting it planted early like that is the rye has time to grow and it helps reduce soil loss and nutrient loss from that farm field over the winter time when crops aren't actively growing. So that's good for the farmer and it's good for folks downstream. You can go to the next slide. This is another picture of a cover crop tool. This is a vertical tillage machine with an air seeder on top. So when folks are doing their fall tillage, they can spread cover crops at the same time. So it's a good way to get a lot of work done in a short amount of time. And then if you go to the next screen, you can see this is a green field. It's nice and smooth. So this is what I like to see this time of year is green fields, because that means those fields are protected. They're not going to be eroding or losing nutrients. You can go to the next slide. And so part of my, I work with farmers to adopt conservation practices. And I talk about the why and the how, but I also help them find funding. So one thing I do is help them sign up for cover crop cost share with Practical Farmers of Iowa. And this is just a flyer for them. So this is $10 or $12 an acre, and it can be stacked with public dollars. So anything they get from the NRCS office, they can stack this on top of it. Next slide. Another thing that I do is I'm a conservation salesperson in the watershed, so I do quite a bit of outreach and education. You can go to the next slide, and so that amounts to a lot of phone calls, and I do 3 or 4 field days every year. So we get out in the field and we dig in the soil and we look at plants growing, we look at cover crops and how these practices actually work. You can go to the next slide. Usually we meet in machine sheds and we look at farm machinery. We have some presentations. We have meals. You can go to the next slide. So these are usually well attended. I think one of the most valuable things is just getting people together. So there's folks that have been adopting these practices for a number of years, and they can chit chat around a meal with folks that are wanting to try something out. So it's a good time building a conservation community that come to these field days. So, and you can go to the next slide. Here you can see we do PowerPoints, but we also do demonstrations with different cover crop seeding machines. So in this picture, we have another vertical seeder. We had a drone. We had a fertilizer buggy, just showing off all the different ways to seed cover crops. Go to the next slide, please. And finally, we have structural practices that go in the ground, namely bioreactors and saturated buffers. So you can see in this picture, that's a brand new installed saturated buffer. And what it does is it cleans the tile water before it enters the stream. And for every one of these that we put in, it takes out about half the nitrogen. So they're pretty good tools. And the nice thing is they're right on the edge of the field next to the stream, so it doesn't affect their crop field. And they just, they work day and night, and you don't have to do management on them. That's one downside of cover crops is you have to plant it and kill it every year. Where once you do the work of installing a saturated buffer, it just works into the future. So we've already built 40 of these, and we're working on installing another 40 next year. So these are big projects. It takes a contractor usually about a month or two to construct these in the fall and late summer. So you can go to the next slide. We're just going to click through some pictures of these, and yeah, you can see we're basically we're taking existing tile lines and installing a water control box to divert that water. So you can see that in a couple different diagrams here. Yeah, you keep going. That's a bioreactor. So instead of diverting it into a saturated buffer line, it's diverted into a wood chip filled pit that also removes about half of the nitrates from the tile water. You can keep going. So that's what one looks like when it's brand new and installed. So when it's all said and done, it's just a box about a foot wide and 2 feet long sticking out of the ground. Everything else is underground. Right, and that's what the pit looks like before we put wood chips in it. So we dig these pits and then we line it with plastic, fill it with wood chips, and cover it up and have grass on top. So as the water goes through, it's cleaned by the microbes in the wood chips. So all right, yep, and with that, I guess we'll take questions. I hate to just keep presenting on the specifics of the practices, but if you have any questions, I'll take them.
How long does those wood chip reactors last?
So the wood chips last about 15 years. So that's definitely a downside of a bioreactor. It just takes more work to dig those big pits and fill them with wood chips, and then you have to replace it in 15 years. So we definitely promote the saturated buffers when we can. Those are much cheaper to install because it's literally just installing a tile line with a tile machine, and that should last as long as field tile lasts. So that's everybody's first choice is a saturated buffer because they're cheaper and last longer.
Interesting.
Yep.
Anybody have any questions? You must have did a good job. There's not very many questions.
Okay, well, thank you for having us. If any of you are interested in improving water quality along streams by installing a saturated buffer, a bioreactor, we are always looking for new projects. And right now, the state is fully funding those practices, so it's pretty painless for the landowner or farmer to install those. So,
Good deal.
all right, thanks for having us.
Thank you. Have a good day. Okay. Last but not least, Mr. Morris.
Good morning.
Morning.
It's my turn in the hot seat here.
Yeah.
Mike Norris here from Southeast Iowa Regional Planning. Good to be here and see everybody. Here to talk about Great River Housing, Inc. Great River Housing is the region's certified housing trust fund. And we've been certified since 2010, and I think we're in our 15th or 16th application. So going in the Wayback Machine, Louisa County was instrumental in helping us start and has partnered with us every year with local match. And we have reciprocated with projects in Louisa County every year. Most of what we do in the county is owner-occupied rehabilitation, a lot of seniors aging in their homes. Typically, sometimes not, which is fine. But, multiple wins from bringing outside money in. And one of those is that we're helping stabilize housing stock. And, there's a lot of folks that get into their homes and, they have expenses. And then all of a sudden, hey, I need 15,000 for a new roof. It's hard to get. And so we're helping, stabilize that stock, but we're doing really critical home envelope type of repairs plus heating plant. Sometimes we get a little fancy and maybe look at a service line or something like that could affect the pure inhabitability of the home, but typically it's home envelope. So we want to keep water out. We want to keep the condition of the house because it's not only about the owner that's in the house now, but it's about the subsequent owners that are going to inhabit that. And so hopefully we're stabilizing the tax base as well. I've thought about doing a study on that and trying to actually calculate that, but it's pretty tough with the inflation, just the pure inflation in value just from doing nothing. So it's hard to separate kind of like what the housing trust fund invested versus like what just kind of natural inflation has caused the values to do. So, but I think safe to say we're stabilizing, and then when you look at adding new units, I think you can definitely look at an increase in tax value. So really, our first goal is to be a good partner with everybody that funds us. So all 4 counties in Southeast Iowa participate. Every county gets projects back and gets more money into the county than what they send out. So I think that's a good thing. So some basic results just to kind of kick into the presentation here. Since 2011, we've had about $9 million awarded to the region. And one of the best things that we do whenever there's an opportunity is to use the housing trust fund to leverage outside funds. So we basically apply for other grants and use the trust fund as match. And so when we do that, we're bringing even more money in and we get to do more projects, which is fantastic. So the grant that we're applying for, you'll notice that the sample resolution I said is for FY27, and that's for the state/county fiscal year. But the grant year runs on calendar year, so that's why those dates are different. So we're applying for the grant that would be awarded to us in calendar 26, but then really it's fiscal year 27 for us and for the county. So we're applying for a bit over $477,000 from Iowa Finance Authority, and that translates into just over $119,000 in local match from the 4 counties. So we try to do a variety of things to raise the match. We just don't come and ask local governments for all of it. We do charge some fees for some of the projects. So it's a bit of there's user funding, if you will, that goes back in for match. We have a annual golf tournament that we raise some match with.
And that's also a good way to talk about the trust fund and kind of extend partnerships as people come in and learn about it. So